Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Series, where I predict how every men's college basketball tournament will play out as I go round by round and pick winners based on my projections. Next up is the NEC. And before I do my predictions, I'm going to look back at my preseason projections and compare them to how the conference actually shaked out. Merrimack actually came in first place, and I had LIU. And Merrimack, I think, was the most surprising regular season conference title winner of the season of all the conferences. I had Fairleigh Dickinson in second. Second ended up being Robert Morris. Third, I had Sacred Heart. It ended up being St. Francis, Pennsylvania. Fourth, I had St. Francis, Pennsylvania. Ended up being Sacred Heart. Fifth, I had Robert Morris. It ended up being LIU. Sixth, I had Mount St. Mary's. It ended up being Fairleigh Dickinson. Seventh, I had Bryant. It ended up being Mount St. Mary's. Eighth, I had St. Francis, Brooklyn, and it ended up being Bryant. Ninth, I had Wagner, and it ended up being St. Francis, Brooklyn. 10th, I had Central Connecticut State, and they ended up in 11th. And Wagner came in 10th, and I had Merrimack in the basement, who ended up winning the conference outright for the regular season title. So, without further ado, here we go with the 2020 Northeast Conference Tournament predictions. All tournament games will be played at the home arena of the higher seed. Alright, quarterfinals begin tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It's obviously March 4th. 6-seeded Mount St. Mary's at 3-seeded Sacred Heart. Mount St. Mary's 11-20 on the season, 7-11 in conference play. Sacred Heart 19-12 on the year, 12-6 in conference play. The pick is Sacred Heart, and I have them projected as a 12-point favorite. Tonight at 7 o'clock, Fairleigh Dickinson, who's your 5-seed at 4-seeded LIU. Fairleigh Dickinson 11-18 on the season, 9-9 in conference play. LIU 14-17 on the year, 9-9 in conference play. The pick is LIU, as I have them as a 4-point favorite. 7-seeded Bryant at 2-seeded St. Francis, Pennsylvania at 7 o'clock tonight. Bryant 15-16 on the season, 7-11 in conference play. St. Fran, Pennsylvania 29 on the season, 13-5 in conference play. The pick, St. Francis, Pennsylvania, as I have them projected as a 12-point favorite. I read the wrong game. Whoops. 8-seeded St. Francis, Brooklyn at 1-seeded Robert Morris at 7 o'clock tonight. St. Francis, Brooklyn 13-17 on the season, 7-11 in conference play. Robert Morris 17-14 on the year, 13-5 in conference play. To pick Robert Morris, as I have them favored by 11. The semifinals, 4-seeded LIU at 1-seeded Robert Morris, Saturday at 12 o'clock on ESPN3. I'm going to take Robert Morris to advance, and I have them projected as an 8.5-point favorite. 3-seeded Sacred Heart at 2-seeded St. Francis, Pennsylvania, 2 o'clock on ESPN3. I have St. Francis, Pennsylvania moving on, and I have them as a projected 5-point favorite at home to advance to the title game. And the championship game, Tuesday, March 10th, 7 o'clock, ESPN2. 2-seeded St. Francis, Pennsylvania at 1-seeded Robert Morris. This should be a good game between the best two teams from this conference. With the home court advantage, I'm going to take the Colonials to go to the big dance led by Josh Williams. So the pick to win this conference tournament is Robert Morris, as I have them getting the auto bid in the big dance. Next up, the OVC.